Hey guys, it is Mike from Baltimore Rides here. Hold on, I had gum in my mouth, sorry. This is my kind of mini video or wrap-up video, call it what you will, for Tuesday, September 12th. You know, a lot of you guys have probably figured out by now that I took Monday off to spend time with the kids and kind of be in dad mode. But I'm back in action. Today was my, let's call it a half day. I'm going to try and work 5.5 days instead of 6 full days for a little while and see if I can produce the same productivity in that number. And I've been doing it for a couple weeks now, so I think it's doable. And so my strategy was very different tonight, guys. And it's different because of the nature of the amount of hours I put in. I really only worked about 6 hours tonight, and I didn't go to DC because a time investment of driving there and driving back would have been counterproductive for that short period of time. So what I ended up doing, and I'm not really 100% pleased with the results, is I went to Towson. And had I picked a weekend or a Thursday night as a half day, Towson probably would have been a lot more substantial. But as it were, I did something to the effect of 15 trips in. It was maybe not that many, maybe like 13 trips in 5.5 hours. But none of them were at any level of surge pricing, and there's no boost in Towson, so they were all at regular fare trips, and for the most part, all of them were minimums. They were all very much, $3.50 to $5 fares. I think I'm somewhere in the vicinity of $65. So, while I'm not necessarily pleased with those numbers, it's a great learning tool. And so for tonight, this shows you that, 5.5 hours in DC, which typically would be a 4 p.m. start to, let's call it 9:30, 10 o'clock, where I take my break in DC. My goal for that number in DC is $100. That's my halfway mark for the night. And if I don't have at least $100 in by the halfway mark, I know I'm going to have a bad night. So for me to only be at 65 halfway, I know that if I had done a full night tonight in Towson, my end result would be $100 to $120. It'd be double that. So this is the proof in the pudding, or the secret recipe, guys. Average fares without any pricing incentive. And when I mean incentive, I mean any modifier that the company provides to make your trips more profitable. This is the result you're basically going to get. Now the multipliers or incentives that I'm talking about, guys, could be one of a couple things. Could be surge, if you get lucky enough to get in a surge cloud. We all know how elusive that is. Could be boost. Boost is, pre-programmed pricing modifiers. So your fare goes up to, 1.4, 1.5, whatever. In that zone or area that they've already designated out on the map for a specific period of time. 12 to 1, 1 to 2, whatever. The last one, which is a little bit more tricky to, if you want to think of it this way though, is Quest. Quest says do 20 trips, get $50, just making up goofy numbers. Well, if you do 20 trips, let's call it 25 trips for $50 because I suck at math, okay? So 25 trips for $50, do the division, it's $2 extra per trip. Now all of a sudden a $5 fare is a $7 fare. That's basically what Quest is. Anybody that doesn't see that math needs to stop and take a breath. 25 trips gets you an extra $50, guys. Do the math, just divide. It's $2 extra per trip. So now some of the quests are much more, profitable than that. Some of them are actually less profitable than that. But again, anything that's getting you extra dollars per trip is beneficial to us. And as drivers, how do I want to say this? As drivers, our goal is to be as profitable per trip as we can. Now, there's a gigantic asterisk thingy there at that statement. We want to do it the right way. Okay? We don't want to drive somebody 5 times around the Beltway and drop them off to rack up a crazy amount of miles. You can, but here's what happens. Uber and Lyft have these mileage filter things, software that they go through that automatically, without a human being even being involved, tells them that you might not have taken the most reasonable course to their destination. And it will adjust your fare and take money away from you. Obviously to fix the money for the customer. So, we don't want to do shady stuff. Okay, guys, that's a big no-no. Now, if you say to your customer, look, Waze or Google Maps, whichever one you're using, gives me a couple different routes we can take. There's some traffic right now, or there's some construction. So I have a way that's a little bit longer, but we're not going to sit in traffic. Or, I have a way that's a little bit quicker, but it's actually a little bit longer route, but it's faster because there's not going to be any, construction. So if you use those 3 alternate routes, those 3 suggested routes, and you see one is 8 miles and one is 8.5 miles, and they're both the same 12 minutes, then go the route that's 8.5 miles and get yourself an extra half mile. But if you see a route that's 8 minutes and a route that's 15 minutes, the customer's not going to want to sit in the car for 15 minutes. We want to be as reasonable as possible for our customers. So when I say, we want to make our trips as profitable as possible, it's with that in mind. Let's not be shady. Let's not do the things that got the taxi industry into the problem it's in now. Because the reason why we're all here as Uber, Lyft, rideshare drivers is because the taxi industry ruined its reputation by doing shady stuff. By doing shady stuff, guys. I'm honest enough to admit it. By racking the meter, by taking long routes, by just doing anything they possibly could, going slow to rack up the time fare portion, anything the taxi cab industry could do to tweak the fare and make it a little bit more expensive, they did. And then tweaking the fare became just abusing the fare. So, and then, that's one of those things that started these entrepreneurs down the road of, hey, let's come up with a better model. So if we go and, we roll back the playbook and we start playing by the old set of rules that the taxi cab industry used, we're going to put ourselves right in that same position. We're going to become dinosaurs. And the truth of the matter is that long before the industry gets hurt, Lyft and Uber, they'll deactivate you. They are smarter than you think. They are looking for bad drivers. They're filtering them out as quickly as they possibly can. So you don't want to get yourself in that trap. And truth be told, there's no reason to. There's so much money to be made doing it the right way that there's no reason to do it the wrong way. But the right way for us also means taking advantage of every incentive that the company is offering. The company's offering these things. They call them promotions. And Lyft does all this same stuff, guys, but I don't get it because I don't drive enough with Lyft. So I know it's out there. They call it Power something or another. I don't know what the heck how it looks on their app because, once again, I don't qualify for it. I don't drive enough with Lyft. But you could easily take the same conversation I'm having now with Uber bonuses and convert it. Anything that gives you extra money per trip is a good thing. Surge, Boost, and Quest are the 3 things that Uber does. Prime time is Surge for Lyft. I don't know what they call their Boost, and I don't know if they do Quests, but I think they do. So it's out there. you guys might have to just hunt around for the names. And you certainly got to drive a lot with Lyft to qualify for it, because the amount of trips I'm doing with Lyft, I haven't seen any incentivized bonuses yet. So I'm small potatoes with Lyft. But that's the deal, guys. I started with Uber. I'm loyal to Uber. I'm trying to make Uber, my main gig, and I'm succeeding. And Lyft is frustrating, guys. Here's a perfect example. My first 5 fares tonight were all Lyft, because I was trying to make today like Lyft day and rack up some Lyft trips. 4 cancels, 1 successful ride. And all 4 of the cancels were right at the 4-minute mark. So those customers knew they had 5 minutes to cancel, and they waited till the last minute. One of them, I had actually pulled up at their destination and they canceled on me. It happened to be short, so I got there in like 3.5, 4 minutes. But, I'm trying to give Lyft my business and Lyft passengers my business, and they're not making it easy on me. I haven't had a canceled Uber in a long time, guys. Once in a blue moon I get one, but for the most part, Uber passengers don't cancel. They end up no-showing. That happens, but they don't cancel on me nearly as much as Lyft riders do. So, tonight I started out with the intention of just using Lyft, and that went right out the window. I did $22 worth of Lyft rides, and the remaining $40-something was Uber, because Uber was just producing. It was producing me passengers and customers at a much faster rate than Lyft was. So, even when I intend to give Lyft my business, it's almost like pulling teeth getting them to do it. So, that's just the way of the world. And I'm probably going to not qualify for my Lyft fuel card after a while, but you know what? I'm just going to have to figure it out. Maybe I'll get a BJ's membership and just use the BJ's gas pump, because I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I want to give Lyft some business. I want to stay active with them because, I think there's a time and a place when they can be beneficial, but they're not, they're not making it easy. So, that's the trick, guys. It's a good kind of quick video, but, the lesson is use I'm not going to say my failure tonight. I think that's too strong of a word, but use my math as a prime example of why it's better to drive where there's incentives. Why I went through the headache of switching my account to DC, why I go through the headache of driving an hour and 20 minutes one way to DC to work, is because there's incentives, because my average trip price goes up around those things, whether it be Surge, whether it be Boost, whether it be Quest. I'm working in an area where the company's just paying me more money to do the same job. I'm working smart, not hard. And that's my motto, guys. It always has been, is work smart, not hard. Find a way to do it where you don't have to work as hard as you did the day before. And always be thinking about that. So, that's kind of how I want to end this video. I do want to leave you guys with 2 little teasers. One, I had an interview yesterday on the phone with a gentleman who writes a ride-sharing blog. He works with Gridwise, not for Gridwise, but the marketing and PR firm that works with Gridwise, and I guess they run some sort of a blog or forum site for ride-sharing people that are getting started and just looking for advice and tips. And I have Gridwise. Obviously, you guys know I use Gridwise, but I did not know that there was kind of a site out there facilitated or connected with them. And he wanted to do an interview with me. He found the YouTube videos some way, somehow. And, his thought process and mine were similar, that, there's enough business for us all to share and share alike, and that there's no reason to keep secrets. So you guys know that's how I feel. And so we just talked. We talked for, maybe about an hour, a little bit less. And he's obviously going to, kind of put that into some sort of an article interview format for the site. As soon as I get a link to that, I will post that on the YouTube videos in the comments so that you guys can check it out. But it's, for those of you that have been watching me for a while, it's probably nothing you haven't already heard because I'm super repetitive. You guys know that about me. I talk about the same things over and over again. So that's one other little tidbit of kind of coming soon. I don't have any dates. He said roughly the end of this week, the beginning of next. So coming soon to a theater near you for that. And then the next thing, guys, and this is a little bit embarrassing, but I'll talk about it because that's what I do. I've put on about 10, 15 pounds since I started doing this in May. I'm not ashamed to admit that, guys. It's horrible, but I have. And I know why. I used to work in retail. Even though I was in the management side of retail, you're still on your feet and active and walking and moving. And now I'm sitting on my rump. And, my eating habits have not improved because I'm eating in the car. I'm not necessarily always eating the best food. And so I've put on a little bit of weight. I'm not going to lie. And I'm not too thrilled. So I'm going to do some homework and I'm going to see if I can maybe find a dietitian or somebody that's out there that's maybe an expert on, high protein, low calorie foods that might correlate well to us as ride sharing people, and also somebody who might be able to tell me, what our calorie intake should be, given that our lifestyle is sedentary. Because I know there's inherent risks of people that sit for long periods of time. Increased heart disease and heart attack, obviously weight gain. I know that there's inherent health risks for a non-active, work lifestyle. And as much as this is all super new to me, I'm aware of this stuff and I'm thinking about it already. So I'm gonna do some homework. I'm nowhere near ready to talk about it with help for you guys. But I noticed it in my body. I don't know if you guys have noticed it in yours yet. For those of you that have been driving for any length of time, you've probably noticed it a little bit. And, I'm not an active go to the gym guy. I never have been. And honestly, with my work schedule and my kids' schedule, I can't foresee me finding a way to make that work. But I think even just modifying my diet a little bit and looking at my calorie intake and what things I'm eating and maybe tweaking that could be better for, some long-term prevention. So something I've been thinking about, something that I want to do some homework on. And once I feel like I have my head wrapped around it enough that I can kind of be a subject matter expert for you guys, I will come back and revisit that. But I'm embarrassed, but honest enough to admit that I've put on a few pounds since I started this process and that it's a concern. So if I'm seeing it, I'm warning you guys that you might start seeing it. The more you're driving, the less you're active. It's just nature of the beast. I was eating salads and I'm eating like peanuts and, healthy stuff, but I'm also drinking 2 cups of coffee a day. And, it's a struggle. It is. Sometimes you're in the car and you're boredom hungry. You want to just finger munch because you're driving around and you don't have anything to do. It's a struggle that I identify, and I can't imagine I'm alone in that. So I will come back to that. But I'm going to wrap it up here, guys, and get some sleep. And then tomorrow starts my my long stretch. So it's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I'm going to take next Monday off again. So we're going to hit it 5 days straight. We're going to grind. We're going to do $1,000 in 5 days, guys. That's the plan. $200 a night. We're going to make it happen. So have a great night, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.